Okay, guys, we've been watching a worldwide countdown here from Thumb. I don't know how your clock works, babe. Okay, well, we're going to today. First of all, maybe you guys can confirm for me that you can see and hear okay. Let me know that you can see and hear us okay, and we will take off. Oh, we got a good crowd here today. Hello, Annette. Can you guys hear me?
You look and sound great, Debbie, says Jane.
Who said that? Oh, thank you, Jane. Okay, good. I just.
Thelma here too.
All right. I just
Megan
was.
says hello.
Hello, Megan. I just was jumping the gun there. So, the very first thing we're going to do today is finish our class from Thursday. We really don't have that far left to go. Yeah, the internet went down. We couldn't get it back in time. We wrestled with it for 30 minutes and then we decided we just needed to call it. So you saw Teddy last night. He was running around. He must have been watching one of our videos or in your dreams. Okay, let's get going. Let's start with, we did this one Thursday night. We finished this card. Can you come in on my hands now, please? We finished this one Thursday night, and it's fun and beautiful. And we put a little bit of stickles, you'll recall, on the end of his hat and on the pom-pom. So let's get going here. We're going to jump into this one. Hi, Betty. Well, I'm glad you could drop in for a minute. Okay, we're going to do this one next. We'll start by cutting our card off the corner. You know that I don't often use my cutter to cut the paper off. I put it on my cardstock and trim around, but because we have ribbon corners and a wraparound on this one, I'm going to go, hi, Elsie, good to see you, Elsie from Norway. We're going to go ahead and cut it off the cardstock first. My card should be 4 1/8 inches by 5 7/8, because that's the size of a European A6. Let's see if that's what if it fits well. And here we go. It's going to be almost a perfect fit, but I think I'm going to trim my card just a tiny amount. See that little bit of white? That's just the difference in measuring. I'm going to trim just a minute amount off of my card. And off my card edge as well. I mean, really, just a super tiny amount. Those little scraps. And let's try to check it again before we get everything ready to go. All right. Now it's going to be a perfect fit, I believe. I still got a tiny bit of white showing there on that edge. So back to the trimmer it goes again. Let's check it again. There we go. That's perfect. Okay. Let's get our red ribbon out. And first, we're going to tie our wraparound bow. You should have in your kit, you will have in your kit, a 5/8 inch piece of red satin. It doesn't need extra long tails because, see, we're just going over. Well, come in a little bit closer, honey, please. And where do I need to go to get to you? I'm having to move your cameras askew. No, it's not. Okay. We need to leave a little bit of a tail to wrap around, but not too much because it's pretty close to the edge already. And you'll see that I just tied a single on this one. So I'm going to go out to, I think we'll try a 4. I'm going to do a 4. This comb is pink, but it's exactly the same measures as yours. So it's just an earlier version. The one I had handy here. Go down through the hole, back up and over. I don't have to really pay attention to which side's on top because this is double-sided satin. We'll pull that tight, pull it off our comb, and we have a very, very pretty inline bow. We'll take this. We're going to put a piece of our Hunkydory finger lift tape on the back. I say Hunkydory because it's not wide enough for the craft style tape, so I'm gonna use the Hunkydory. You could certainly use red tape if you had that sitting there. And we're going to put a little piece right on the back of our bow. What happened to Mary?
Mary had her husband DH in the hospital for 13 hours.
Oh no.
We're waiting for her.
I'm sorry, Mary. Bob's brother has been ill, and he went to the doctor's office to have a test, and from there they referred him immediately to the hospital. But because of COVID-19 outbreak in Idaho, he had to take a 4-hour ambulance ride to get to where they had any vacancies for him. So that was not a good thing. We still don't know what's going on with him. We know he hasn't been feeling well, but we don't know what the story is yet. So we're waiting to hear. But that's the scary part of one of the scary things about hospitals right now is, will you get in? I'm going to peel this tape back a little bit because I kind of got it off kilter. One of the nice things about working on fabric is that you can usually lift the tape back up. It's also one of the real annoyances of working with fabric ribbon. Okay, I've put some tape down on a piece of my ribbon. I'm just going to clip myself some corner pieces here. This is a great use for leftover pieces of ribbon. I'm going to clip 4 corners off of this. So those pieces you used to throw away, now you have a use for them. We're going to, thank you, Mary. We hope so too. Okay. We are going to lay this right across the corner of our card. Then we're just going to wrap the corner. Create a nice, almost like a photo corner on there. Squeeze it down nice and tight, and we end up with this pretty edge. We'll take another one. We'll do all 4 of those. Oh, I think the waiting room aspect, Mary, is almost as bad as being a person who's hospitalized. That's a tough, tough job sitting in the waiting room. Okay. We're going to slide this right up under our pieces that are added onto our card here, right to the corner. And we're going to wrap, whoops, that one didn't wrap straight. I'm going to pull that off and wrap that right around the corner. Get another one here. So I gotta tell you about our week. How many weeks have you guys heard me saying week after week after week after week? We sure wish we could get some rain here in Portland. We figured out the secret to having that happen. You have your deck professionally painted with expensive textured deck paint, and it will rain for you. That's how that works. We now know how to create rain in Portland. Firsthand, we figured it out. And if that isn't enough, then you should clean your garage, sort the things that you are removing from your garage into keep it, recycle it, donate it, and trash it piles. We have a dumpster out there, so we just put those things directly into the dumpster. But we have donated and we have donated piles and other piles out there for the other purposes. Fortunately, we were smart enough to throw some tarps over them so that just the morning dew didn't get to them, but the rain did. So it sounds like we'll be sorting some of that stuff again, removing and pitching some of what's getting wet. So just in case we didn't know, that right there, friends, is the secret to creating rain during a drought, is expensive deck paint and garage cleaning. Now that we've got that figured out, we'll solve new problems on a different day. I got this bow a little low, so I'm going to have to, I should have been a little higher with this one like I was on my sample. But it won't be bad. I just have to figure out where the best placement is for this. I think right here in front of him's not bad. Although over his head might not be bad either. Well, I don't know. I think I'll put it in front of his face, maybe. That'll make it a little different, but it'll still be fine. I think we'll put it there.
Looks like he's speaking the words.
He's speaking the words? Okay, thank you, honey. You give me a good excuse for my blunder.
Oh yeah, let's claim it as a business loss.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, Mary R., you're funny. Yeah, my favorite activities. I got to get the business books caught up to date because we want to refinance our house while the rates are low. And I just got to find a few extra days, or a few extra days, probably, but a few extra hours in my day to get those done. And yeah, of course, you know how much I like the accounting work. Okay, so original, rework. I'm going the wrong way on the camera again. Like the original better. Move your bow a little higher than I did, but I actually do like the words out to the side of him, I must say. I actually think that's pretty good, but the bow should have been a little higher on that one. Okay, let's get our last one done. Now we have a decision to make with this one. Here's the decision. We have this lovely piece of cardstock here, which I fully intended to use as my background. But when I was putting the cardstock down on my card, I just couldn't seem to, you know how it is. Some nights you just can't seem to get stuff straight. I didn't get it straight. I mean, it was badly not straight. So I had to start over, and I had a piece of red velveteen and I used it for that. I think since we have this cardstock, it matches everything beautifully. We'll go ahead and use this cardstock. But if I do, my question is, how's that going to influence my pattern? And I should probably check that out before I do, because I really, 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 really like the way this turned out. In fact, you know what, guys? I'm going to go ahead and do it on the red cardstock, and I'll tell you why. Because I did a little tricky down here, and I want to show you what I did there. So I think we'll go ahead and use the red velvet if you guys are okay with that. You get it in your kit, so it's not like I'm using something you don't have. And this piece is keep that, of course. It's universal enough you're going to be able to use that somewhere during the making of your cards. So let's go ahead and do it on the red velveteen. With that said, let's grab our red velveteen. Let's grab our, I want to use this little border here. Of the one with the holly and the berries. So let's keep that out. We're going to need this little Merry Christmas. We're going to need to tie a bow, which we should probably do about next. We're going to need our Mary board. Yes, we need our Mary, our punch out, our velveteen paper. I fold my card. I'm going to cover it with my mirror board. Wait till the end of class today, guys. It's going to be a little bit longer class because we got to do our cards from today and we had to finish these. But when we get to show and tell, let me tell you, in fact, I might do part of it early, maybe at halfway point. We'll do part of our show and tell early because I have finished in its entirety the sparkling season. And I have the samples now to show you. Good night, Megan. Thanks for stopping in to say hi. We love that when you do that. And I'll see you on the rerun when you watch the rest of the episode. But yes, maybe at the halfway point, we will take a look at some of the sparkling season. And then at the end of our time, we'll look at the rest of it. I have a lot to show you, actually. I have been a card making fanatic this week, on top of cleaning garages and fretting about paint. So I have a lot to show you. A lot to show you. Sparkling season, one set, made 24 cards, 6 each topper set made 6 cards. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. What? Yeah, I thought maybe I shouldn't have put that mirror board down on there, but it's fine. With this particular ribbon, I don't have to wrap it. So, okay. I am, however, going to tie a bow and let the best glue start drying on that. So let's get that going. So I'm going to tie this. I'm actually tying one of the 515 style bows on this bow maker as on your, actually any of your bow makers. I'm going to recommend a 454. And if you have been through our bow class, you know what that means. If you haven't been through a bow class, you should come to our bow class because it's really pretty good, even if I do say so myself. We have tons of great ideas in there, and you will learn to tie beautiful bows for your cards. So this ribbon is also bi-directional. I don't have to worry about which side's up when I tie my bow because both sides are glistening and beautiful. I know that my 515 style bow is going to be right, and I can look at the back of my bow maker and it looks like that. That's actually the front of my bow maker, but when I look at the front and it looks like that, I know that my bow is going to come out pretty. So I'm going to cut a little whale's tail in this. And a little whale's tail in this. As you know, we're doing that by cutting towards the end of the ribbon upward at an angle. And we get those pretty little notches in our ribbon. Okay. We are going to take our ribbon. Huh? Oh, thank you. Yeah, as soon as I figure out what I do with it. Oh, it's right there in front. I still have my card making supplies down here packed up from our trip. I haven't put everything away yet, so I wasn't sure I could lay hands on it immediately, but it kind of poofed out. So I have to kind of spread it around a little bit because I do want it to dry sometime in this century. As long as it's white like that, do not use it. Wait for it to dry clear before you put that on your card. I know it doesn't sound right to wait for it to dry, but that's exactly what you need to do. I'm going to take this little piece here. Would you get me in that organizer down there? Get me a roll of red tape, please. It's narrower. I can do it with my finger lift tape. It's just easier with narrower tape. It should be right in the middle. It is right in the middle. Probably in the very bottom because they're little and they fall down. Thank you. And I'm doing this not because it necessarily requires red tape, just because it's the right size for my. Okay, I love spaghetti. I love pasta. I don't know if I've told you guys that one of our goals, Bryce and mine, is to eat our way across to Italy. We want to go through the different provinces in Italy and sample everything. Well, sample all things that I will eat. I'm a little bit finicky. I don't like weird stuff in my food. I want pasta, red sauce, basically, and pizza. I've gotten to where I'm adventurous enough to try barbecue sauce on my pizza. I've had Alfredo sauce, but it doesn't belong on a pizza, really. But yeah, we want to do that someday. It's in our bucket list. I'm gonna get to where I'm more mobile before I can go to Italy. Okay, so I got my tape on here. I'm going to put my tape right down in the middle of my ribbon so that my beautiful ribbon shows on each side, and it's going to create this just really, really nice accent piece. I'm putting my border right on top of my ribbon. Just like that. Look how pretty this turns out. Oh.
I'm showing full sound on our side.
Well, I will
Speak up.
I will speak up. I think my microphone's been moved a ways away. Let me try to move this up further. How's that? Is that better? Better, guys? Probably just the microphone got moved back a little ways. Oh, good. Okay. That was the problem. As I'm jockeying stuff around on my table, sometimes I get the microphone moved. It's all me. I do it, but I don't do it on purpose. It just happens. Blasting you out of your house now that you increase the volume. That could happen. I'm going to cut my velvet to 4 3/4 wide by 6 3/4 long, because I know that my card is a 5 by 7. So 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. My measurement isn't exact on my 3/4 mark because it's right at the seam in my cutter. So I might have to trim a little bit more. We'll see. This is a really nice narrow border. Well, I actually think it looks pretty good on this card, although just for illustration, let me cut it a little bit narrower because the sample card's pretty narrow, and then you can see whether you like yours wider or narrower, and just so you can see the difference between the two before you start cutting. I'll make this one a little bit wider. Okay, I'm going to put some tape on the back of my velvet. Oops, nope. Yeah, that's right. I don't have to wrap this thing. I don't know how many times I need to tell myself that. Okay. Now, take my adhesive off here. When you're peeling this off on velvet paper, just like when you're peeling it off on fabric, it's not a bad idea to tear your tape in the middle and peel it back, just because it tends to behave a little nicer on fabric-y stuff. Although the way I'm doing it right here is going to eliminate my ability to use tape flags, so I should have thought about that. But oh, what's life without a little adventure, huh? And we got it pretty good. I'll just put it down there. So I got a little bit wider border this time. Now I'm going to be putting my teddy right down here. I'm going to put my greeting right here in front of him. And I need to leave room. I want to start one border right here, down further, about here, so maybe I'll come down a little bit more. Just doing a little planning here before I get going. I have a rough end on my ribbon where it's just kind of a little bit frayed there, so I'm going to trim that off evenly. And I'm going to cut this. I think I might just, yeah, I'm just going to trim it. Pretty good. Okay, now I have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Here it is. I only have this much ribbon left, and I want to put it clear across the bottom of this teddy. So what am I going to do? I'm going to follow that old adage we've talked about. If it doesn't show, it doesn't have to be there, right? So I'm going to clip this a little bit longer on one side than the other into two pieces. And I'm going to fit one side over here. And I will put one side over here. Match them up visually as much as I can. Hello, that's stuck under my nail and just wanted to come right with me. Just kind of match them up, eyeball them. Set my teddy on top. And only you, me, and 3,000 of our closest friends will know we did that. Looks like we put our ribbon all the way across. And it looks really, really pretty on there. So let's pick this one up. I'm going to use glue on this because I'm on top of that velvet. And I got this ribbon, and I just don't know how my tape is going to hold. So just to make sure, we're going to put some glue here. And I kind of got a little heavy there, so I'm going to spread that out just a little bit. And I want this to be about an inch down, roughly an inch from the top. I'll put that in there. That's going to hold really nicely now. And I'm going to put this one over here. Thank you, Elsie, for the thumbs up reminder. I love it. Thank you, my friend. And get a little more glue on the back of this one. And we'll pop that in here. Get a little glue on this one. We'll pop this in on the other side here. Oh, that's pretty good. Maybe just a little high. Slide it just a tad there. Set my teddy in there. And that will look great. I am going to put some foam squares under teddy because after all, why not? And I have these nice big ones that are easy to use and quick. So there's another why not. Let's just do it. Okay. Right, let's peel these off. Yeah, cleaning the garage has been quite an endeavor, I gotta say, because I've been in this business for 19 years. I'm seeing some stuff in that garage that's been around pretty much since the beginning. And when we finish this job, I've had some stuff in storage that I'm tired of paying storage fees on. It's been in storage an embarrassingly long period of time because you know me, guys, I always have 15 irons in the fire. And I never seem to leave myself any extra time to do some of those things like go through the pod and figure out what we're doing. So we've had it in an embarrassingly long period of time, and I don't even know for sure what's in there anymore. When you get to that point, you better empty it because you're paying storage on pretty much nothing. So we are working on the garage this week. And the pod is being delivered on Friday. And then we're going to go through and we're going to take care of that as well. Now, I got quite a bit of glue on there, so it's still processing. I can show you where it's going to go, but I'm not going to put it down quite yet. We'll come back to it and put it on. I'm going to put it at an, oops, I'm right behind my face. I'm going to put it on at an angle, sort of an angle, right here when it's dry. But I don't want to put it on yet because I want to wait till it's dry. That wraps up teddy bear cards. You guys want a really brief sneak peek at one of our upcoming classes before we move to our next project? We'll spread them out because I have quite a bit to show you. I don't want it to get boring. So how about a little sneak peek coming up right here? First up, I think I will show you next week's classes. Wow, I made a lot of mess in a little time. Hold that garbage closer. I managed to make a fair amount of mess there. Set that cardstock off for later. Save these little scraps of mirror board. Move this stuff off for later. Okay. All right. Let's look at our classes for next week. This is not on the site yet. I just listed one just a minute ago, but the kits are done. I just got to get them listed. See my little note from Brittany. Sorry, I ran out of time. In other words, that means list these yourself, Deborah. That's kind of what that meant. Okay. This one for next week is from Christmas Classics. It's our very first Craftaganza class of the year. And this will have about 3 sets from every luxury set that will be shown on YouTube. And then the rest of the videos will be for subscribers only until December. But we will have about 3 out of every set that we're going to show, that we're going to do as classes and show on YouTube. So here is our first one. This is called Here Comes Santa Claus. And look at that jolly Santa. Isn't he wonderful? He is truly a jolly looking Santa. I love him. So there's the first one. Here's the second jolly Santa. Oh, I did line these too. I believe I lined you. Lined that one. Here's our third jolly Santa. There is, everything that I used on these Craftaganza cards is in the Ultimate Kit. If you did not buy the Ultimate Kit, you might want to consider buying the Class Kit. For those of you who did not buy the Ultimate Kit, there will be a kit available that does not have the topper set. Okay, so if you bought the regular kit or the Blockbuster, you won't have everything. You won't have the ribbon and everything. If you bought the Ultimate Kit, you have everything you need, Betty, to make these cards. Okay, so there's our next Santa. So we've had 3 so far. Here's number 4. And here's number 5. Little gatefold with Santa. 5 cards from this set from Craftaganza. So that's Here Comes Santa Claus. It will be in next week's classes. The listing will be up tonight. The other one is already up. I tell you what, let me show you the one I just put up too. Since Betty's leaving, I have one more I can show you, and then we'll show the sparkling season at the end. Okay, here we go. This one is called, it's from Christmas Classics again. Both of these sets are. And this is called Cozy by the Fire. The kits are out there now. If you bought the Ultimate Kit, you have everything except the card blanks. I should have said that with the Santa too. You don't have the card blanks. You have everything else, Betty, but you won't have the card blanks. But here's my first one, a little center step card. We're using the center step from Hot Off the Press. Isn't that pretty? I can never resist it. When I go to make a card that has a Christmas tree, I have to decorate it. And there's our decorations on the tree. So we have one. This has an errant foam square on the back of it, just wandering around there. Here's another one with the tree. Of course, you'll notice if it has a tree, it has decorations, because that's me. And I had to put some little stickles on the what am I trying to say? The garland going up the stairs. So there's number 2. Here's number 3. Betty will like this, or Betty and Mary, because it includes a puppy relaxing in the chair. That's number 3. Here's number 4. These are all lined too. Here's number 4. Here's number 5. And here's number 6. 6 toppers from this set. They always seem to have one that's got a puppy sleeping in front of the fire or in front of the Christmas tree, or both. And that's always one of my favorite ones. It's kind of traditional, they'll have one of those. So we get 6 Christmas cards out of this classic Christmas set. The name of this set is Cozy by the Fire. Cozy by the Fire. And it's part of the Christmas Classics collection. I believe we have one more coming out of Christmas Classics. Well, the kits include the inserts. I did not put the inserts in the kit, Jane. I'll tell you what I'm thinking about doing on the sparkling season, and then let me get some feedback from you. The guys who bought the Ultimate Kit have the inserts already, so don't rebuy those guys. I don't know about Blockbuster. I don't believe Blockbuster has the inserts. In fact, I'm sure it does not. So Blockbuster people, regular Craftaganza people, and anybody who buys the topper set will get will need inserts. In the sparkling season, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the topper set that has 3 full sets of toppers in it, and I'm going to break it into thirds for the people who are buying the kits, the class kits, so that instead of spending $15, you'll spend like $5.99. I got to charge a little bit extra for the girls' time and the packaging, but we'll charge like $5.99, And that way you will have you can buy the inserts for each classic kit or each sparkling season. I have to look at the classics to see how many are in there. But in the sparkling season, it has 3 full sets. It has 12 inserts and 3 of each. So I'm just going to make 1/3 kits available for the sparkling season. And let me look at the classics. If you guys like that idea of me making 1/3 sets available for you, I can do that. But I do need a vote on that to know whether or not to proceed. This kit, the Cozy Christmas, Cozy by the Fire, is already up, Mary R. So I don't need to put your name on them. Just get one. Okay? Oh, there's 2 of each with Craftaganza. So maybe I can make some half sets for you Craftaganza people that have something less than the full one. And those of you who have the ultimate set have everything to do all of that. But if you don't have the ultimate set, do you want insert packs available to you if you have broken up into a little smaller kits? If you do, I will work on that. Okay, let's get on to our other kit for today, which is here somewhere. I said it somewhere while I was doing that. Not endorsing Sonic there, just moving stuff around. Where is my kit for today? I moved it. There's my cards. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, this is what we're supposed to be working on today. And we have 5 cards to do. We're going to work on 2 sets today from the Joy of Christmas. We will not be doing the entire Joy of Christmas class, or the entire Joy of Christmas kit, but I selected a couple of them to do class kits from. And Teddy Bear was one of them. This one was one of the Joy of Christmas. And we are also doing Winter Wonderland and Family Time. And let's do, I don't care which one. Let me do the Winter Wonderland first. So I'm going to set this one aside. Now, Winter Wonderland only does 2 cards. I usually get 3, but when I was layering these up, I noticed that I was just not having enough layers. I wasn't satisfied with them. So I reworked it and made, hi Mary T, made just 2. So we're going to get 2 cards from this kit, which is going to make popping our layers out and together really quick because we don't have a lot of choices to make. We have 1 layer on our cardstock. We have 1 layer on our base sheet, and we just need to start going through and distributing those layers between the 2. I do like to look for the layer that's the most complete, that I'm not using as a base layer anyway, and put that on my cardstock because the cardstock on these is not foiled. So I want that foiling in my piece. So I'm going to use the most complete image that I have on my cardstock. Then I'm going to use the next most complete one. You can see these pieces are huge in this one. Too many for 1, but not enough for 3. So 2 was our number. I'm going to just keep going back and forth and distributing, going smaller and distributing the pieces between the 2. And we'll get a nice number of toppers for each set by just making the 2 of them this time. It is. And it has a little greeting on there. We'll set that aside. We're done with that. Okay, let's layer these up real quick. Won't take but a minute because there aren't that many pieces. I have 4 pieces on this one. So I'll pop out a base sheet. I'm going to use these big foam squares because it's faster. What comes in your kit were the little ones. But I'm going to use the big ones because it's faster. I might use a little 1 or 2 so I don't have to cut them. But it'll just be faster to make with you. Since none of you are working on your kits at the same time, my goal is go as fast as I can. And not confuse anybody. So we got that. I'm going to add a couple little ones up here on these longer pieces so that they'll stay put and behave nicely. Look at that from the front. Make sure none of my foam squares show, and they don't. I will pop my backers off of my foam squares, which happens really fast with these bigger squares. Did I show you guys the image of what we're making? I should have done that. I don't think I did. Let me do that right after I layer this up. You want to layer this one for me, honey? You could do that, and then they won't have to watch me layer it. Oops. Come on. Let me get it on there straight. You can layer. Let me use the foam squares for a minute, and then I'll give you the whole thing. And you can use the big ones too and make your life easier. I do like to do this part actually on camera. I mean, the distribution of the pieces. Because I get a lot of questions about, I'm not sure how to choose what goes where. We've done enough of these now that those of you who watch regularly probably have a pretty good idea what I'm going to say, because I always say the same thing. But if we do always have a few newer people too, and I don't want them to feel like they're lost. Excuse me. Itch in my throat. Oh, a little scratch all of a sudden there. That was not nice. Hopefully it will behave. Just came out of nowhere. Okay. Sure. Here's the here's the pieces for you, please. Thank you. All right, let me show you what this card's going to look like. This is where we're going. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to need that piece of cardstock back for a second, honey, because I have to cut my I have to cut my cover of my card off the other side. Sorry about that. Where's my 5x7 card? There it is. Okay. Boy, I don't know where that scratchiness came from. That is not nice at all. I'm going to use the other side of my cardstock here to cover my card. The stickles really makes this card, I gotta say. It absolutely does. Okay. Okay. Oh, Adeline, I'm so sorry. Oh, bless your heart. I'm so sorry. Oh. Oh. Okay. I just covered my card. We didn't use mirror board on this one, so this is a real quick and easy one. It's got so much stickles on it that I really didn't think it was necessary to put mirror board on here too, because it was going to be plenty sparkly. Thank you, honey. I'm sorry. Okay, so I use the other side of my cardstock to cover my card. And we're going to put some, I'm not going to ask him for the foam squares back. I have more here. We're going to put this up on some foam squares. So let's pop these on. And this will take a minute longer. Very, very sorry, Adeline. My goodness, that's a tough one. Okay, got some foam squares on the back of it. I'm going to pop this on to my card base. I'm going to come about a 1/2 inch up so that I have my side margins and my bottom margin are roughly even. Then I'm going to punch out these corners off the base sheet. And I'm going to put a few little foam squares on the back of there. Cavalier King Charles are such pretty dogs. I'm going to pop this corner on here so that once again my margin across the top is roughly similar to the margins around the other sides. Doesn't have to be exact, but it's nice if it's close. Just going to be a little closer than it was in my sample card. I'll just get them close. And I'm going to pop this corner on the other side. Make it nice and even. There we have our completed card for the layering. However, we have the most important job left to do here. That is the application of the glitter. Now, you can do the glitter in one of two ways. You can use your stickles, which works great for this, or if you prefer, you can use, a lot of you have the quickie glue pen and our super ultra fine glitter, which is now available in the store again, I believe. Our ultra fine glitter and the quickie glue pen is another really neat solution. In fact, there's times when I want a really fine line of glitter that I actually prefer the quickie glue pen over the stickles. This isn't one of them. I think this is fine. This is a card that wants a lot of glitter. And heavier lines are fine. But there will be some where we'll want a really fine line that I think the ultra fine glitter and the stickles is, excuse me, the ultra fine glitter and the quickie glue pen is the way to go. This one likes a lot of glitter. We have a lot of snow in this scene, and when we have a lot of snow, we can definitely handle the heavier glitter lines. Anybody who might be out there in the path of the hurricane will be thinking about and praying for good outcomes there. Depending on where it makes landfall this time, it might be where Jordan lives in Connecticut. Or could hit New York City head on. But it's really kind of, you guys out there know better than I do how unpredictable these things can be. So we'll see. It's kind of funny because the last time they had heavy storm warnings, my daughter, who doesn't watch television, didn't even know about it. And I called her and begged her to get out and get her supplies and get ready and make sure that she had plenty of dog food, water, batteries, that they were prepared for a power outage, that they had some plastic to go over a window in case they happened to have a branch go through a window or something. All the little basics. I reminded her about not driving through standing water and things because my daughter's a West Coast girl and we don't have those things here. So I reminded her everything I could think of that are the normal warnings for people who are I checked with her about what her how high her house was and whether or not it was susceptible to storm surges, and that was all fine. So this time the word had gotten out about their lack of preparation before my call last time, and so this time her dad was on her. Her aunt called her. Her mother called her. She had plenty of notice this time. I'm sure that Jake's mother probably called them too. She lives in South Carolina. So I think they were well advised this time. Okay. She is in Groton at the Trident, right out where the Trident Nuclear Submarine Museum is. That's what Jake does. He's in the Navy and he is currently on land duty. He's usually a submarine man, but he is currently on land duty, and he is stationed doing security and tours and the like for the Trident Nuclear Submarine Museum. Okay, next up, Bryce just brought back our card. Thank you very much, honey. Did I tell you today you're one of the good ones? You see if it works before I thank you again. Okay, now I want to point something out here. When we're layering up these border cards, you'll notice that the layers will overlap a little bit. They'll match the picture, they just come over further. It's okay. Look at it on our finished card. It's beautiful. So don't worry about that. I suppose you could cut those pieces back if you wanted to, but there's kind of a why would you want to, because it's really pretty issue that comes into play there. Okay. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and fold this. This is a wraparound card, so I'm not going to want to secure my card to my card base until after I have tied my bow and wrapped it around. So I'm going to need to measure my card and make sure that it's 4 inches. And in this case, it is like 3 15/16 inches wide, which means that 4 inches is going to work just fine. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to cut this to 4 inches. I may have to go just a little bit by scissor because it kind of slid out with the layers on it. I may have to trim it just a little bit more by hand. I recommend cutting it off, actually. If I was thinking, I would have cut it off before I had Bryce put the layers on, but you know me, I'm not always thinking. Okay, but it is a perfect fit for our card. See there? It fits perfectly. It's nice. So I'm going to go ahead. I always recommend you do that too. You measure your card and then check your fit. I actually have a teeny tiny bit of white showing at the top. I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to trim that just a tiny bit. I mean, just a little bit. Get rid of that little white line at the top. Yeah, that looks good. Then match it up good before you wrap your ribbon, because you don't want to have to be unwrapping your ribbon. No, the one that Bryce made is next. We're going to do the snowmen. I layered them up, but then he took the layered cards and ran with it. He designed the cards themselves. So that's what's coming up next. So we've got this ready to go. Let's get our purple ribbon out of our kit. Oh, it's right here. This is a slightly different purple. It's a deeper purple. I didn't think you'd mind. The girls couldn't find the roll of ribbon I used. So I didn't think you'd mind a more robust and darker purple color. It looked beautiful with our cards. So I didn't think you'd mind that we switched a little up there. Okay, we're going to tie a 515 again. I'm going to start at 4. I'm going to do 4 and 4 5 4 once again. This is also a narrower ribbon, but it still will look beautiful. Going down through the hole in our bow maker. Up here. It took us a while to figure out what happened with the internet because Xfinity was not reporting any outages in our area. But what we think happened was that we had our cleaning crew that came through and they were working down the base station for our internet connection is not here in this room. It's in the office in the house where Bryce works at his work at home days, and they came through and were sweeping in there, and we think they swept under the desk and bumped the connections under the desk, and one of our units then, just as a result of a little bit of disruption, it just went out. And so it took replacing some equipment there to get everything up and operational again, which is why we did not come back right back when we disappeared the other day, because we couldn't get it back. But we finished our cards today, so there we go. Are you guys comatose out there? You've stopped talking for a few minutes. I know I talk enough for all of us, but okay. I'm going across the back of my ribbon again. In this case, I used a little red tape just because it's narrower and much easier. You could, in fact, use your finger lift tape. In fact, in the sample, I did it, but you'd have to kind of wrap that tape back on itself. Or the other thing I do if I don't have tape, and let me show you that little trick anyway. If I don't have any tape that's quite narrow enough for the job I want, like putting ribbon on the back, then I will take a piece of my finger lift tape and I will fold it in half. That's a good idea not to burn dinner. And then I will peel off one half of the tape, and I've just made myself some tape that's half the width, and I just don't have to battle with putting everything, you know, trying to wrap the tape back up on itself. So that's one of the things I'll do when I'm working like away from home and I don't have a plethora of tape rolls available to me. I will just kind of make my own thinner tape by folding a different tape in half, and I can get a really nice heavy tape line that way that is narrower and can be used on anything. Taking a nap, kind of, Sharma. Okay, that's fair. I tend to do that for people. The only bad part of using the red tape is just getting the tape liner off. That's a pain on red tape. I'm never very good at that. I have to just kind of pick at it till I get it. Usually I have my tweezers sitting here. They're down the table. Today, I might have to grab some though. Oh, I got it. There we go. All right. So I got my bow. Coming back to my card. I want my bow to be down low enough to allow me to put the greeting over the top. So I'm going to go down about 1.25 inches, inch and a third down. I got lots of room at the top of this card. I'm going to take my ends around the back. My ribbon is now nicely secured to my card and it's going to stay there. I'm going to put my greeting right above my ribbon. I let it snow, and that's going to look really nice there. I'll put that on a couple foam squares. There's one big one. I'll put it there. And I'm going to pop that in right here. Let it snow right over the center of my bow. I will now attach this to my card base. We'll stickles it, and this set will be done. And then we'll move on to the snowflakes that, or the snowmen that Bryce designed. The dark purple, I mean, you just can't beat royal purple. This was pretty. This one's pretty too, but you just can't beat royal purple. That's such a gorgeous color, that violet. I love that. Okay. We'll pop this on here. We'll add some stickles to it, and we will be finished with another set. Then let me ask you, do you want to have another little brief show and tell before we go on to our snowman set? I don't think I really have to ask you. I think you'll all... Oh, Betty's plans were canceled. Oh, darn. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, she doesn't need COVID. Okay, let's go ahead. Well, I'm sorry your daughter's ill and your plans were canceled, but I'm glad you're with us, Betty. We're about to see some of our seasons, our sparkling season samples. We'll look at a set or so. And then we'll look at more later, but I have a lot to show you, so spreading them out makes some sense. On these trees, on the background ones, I just kind of lightly squiggle it. But when I get to the closer up trees, I kind of follow the snow lines a little bit. You know, where you can see a really distinctive white snow line, I try and kind of glitter right on top of the snow. Where you can't really see it, just squiggling works okay. But like this tree that's closer in, I like to hit pretty much where the snow lines are on the tree. I just think that looks nice. That's my preference anyway. And I do try to glitter it in such a way that I'm not sticking my hand in the stickles when I'm trying to reach the different areas. So I try to, it doesn't mean it always works. This is me we're talking about, and I am quite capable of sticking my hand in and gumming up the works, but I'm going to glitter around the roof line and over the porch. I'm going to glitter a little bit on the steps. Kind of have a track up to the door like they've led a sled that way. So I'm going to go over those little tracks. These trees that don't have real distinctive lines, I just kind of squiggle over a little bit. I'm sorry, Stephanie. My goodness, we have a lot of tragedy today. Oh, I'm sorry, Steph. God, goodness gracious. I'm glad we got each other, guys. I'm going to pray for those of you who are experiencing losses and hospitalizations and medical challenges. My goodness, it's really a lot today. But it's a good thing we got each other, isn't it? And in this snow pile right here in the front, I'm just going to hit some of those white areas a little bit. I'm just going to kind of, it doesn't have to be precise. It just a little bit in and around that area. Okay. I think I got everything I wanted to get. Whoops, get it on the right side of the camera. There we go. Oh, these are so beautiful and they're stickled up. My goodness, they're pretty. Okay, I'm going to put this back where I can't get my hands into it. We look at our samples at the end. These will not be done, so we'll look at the previously finished samples because those will be still sticky. And all right, before we start on our snowman, let's take a quick look at one of our sample sets. I'm just going to grab the first one here. One of our sample sets from a sparkling season. This is the set that has the doe and the sheep. It's our first one. See this snowflake up here? Watch for those. It's like my signature on this whole collection. It will, Adeline, good question. Stickles will take, depending on how heavy you put it on, and on these cards I put it on pretty heavy, it can take an hour for everything to dry completely. And it also depends on your humidity level and stuff where you live. But my signature on these card sets is that you will find a snowflake added to every card in this whole collection. Somewhere in there I've added a snowflake. So here's our first one. Here's our second one. And I don't know if you can see my glitter in the trees. It doesn't always come through real well on camera, but I think you can see it. I've glittered up the trees. And then, of course, this set has that absolutely magnificent holographic foiling. This color you're seeing here is not the reflective color. This is the Adorable Scoreable pack. Isn't that periwinkle blue just amazing? I found the Adorable Scoreable is just incredible. Here's the deer in the forest. And you can see I put kind of a charcoal gray Adorable Scoreable. This is all from the Sparkling Season pack. Yes, they can hear that.
What?
Your munchies.
Oh, well.
Mary said, I hear my baby. No, you hear my munchy husband. Here's my signature snowflake. Here it was in the last one. Oh, I want to show you what die set I used too. The snowflakes will not be included in your kit, but I will show you which die set I use because you could do it without that. But it's kind of gratifying to find a place to put something special on there. Oh, I also didn't show you. I lined all these. I'll go back and hit the liner real quick. But see it up there in the corner? A little signature snowflake. All of these, well, this one I didn't glitter actually. It was small enough details I didn't. It could stand to have a little bow. Here's the liners in them. So I think instead of just upcharging everybody for the liners, I'm going to make the liner packs available in a split up pack. I think that's how I'm going to do it. Your kit will include the topper set, the Adorable Scoreable, and any other embellishments that I used. This is not part of your Craftaganza, so this is a separate collection entirely. Okay, now let's move on to the others that we haven't looked at yet. Here's another one of the sheep. Oh, these are so fun to do. That's how come we have the whole set done already. I sat down and started creating these cards, and I finished the entire collection in a day. I didn't do anything else, as you can guess. Here's our cute little rabbit. So this is the collection that has the sheep, the deer, the rabbit. You want to see one more before we move on? Let's look at one more, then we'll have two left to look at when we come back. We'll look at the birds. We'll look at the robins and the swans. Here's the swan. 6 cards from each topper set, Betty. So each topper set I got 6 cards out of. 24 in total from half of the collection in the luxury set, or 24 from one set of toppers through. It says, have yourself a merry little Christmas on this greeting at the bottom. And again, this snowflake right here won't be in your kit. It doesn't have to be there. It's just kind of like my signature this time. And I often do that when I do a whole collection. You've seen me do it before with trees and other things. I'll add kind of a signature piece, especially if I really, really like the collection, like I did this one. And I did it again. Forgot to show you the inserts. You actually can line these center step cards fairly easily, and I'll tell you how when we do the set. This one you can't see real well. Can you come in a little bit, huh? It's so light colored that... Thank you. Isn't that just beautiful? Liner from the inside. I can fit this one in the picture available. So they're swans. Isn't it just the most amazing kit? Oh, I love these. Here's the robin. This one I added 3 snowflakes because when I put one in, it didn't look balanced. So then I put all 3. I put 3. So it was balanced without being too balanced. You know what I mean? You don't want everything to be absolutely symmetrical because nature's not that way, and then it looks funny. But I wanted to create a kind of a visual weight the same between the 2 sides. Oh, it does actually have a liner. You just can't see it very well. It's ghosted in trees in the background. It's there. I thought for a minute I forgot it.
Betty asked how many cards in total?
6 from each set, 24 from all 4 topper sets. This is the Let It Snow. This is also part of the die set, so it won't be in your kit, but I will show you the die. And those who purchase the class kit will get a special deal on the die set, because I think the dies are beautiful with this, as are the inserts. This is the die set I used. Let me see here. Where did I put it? I have to find its bag on this table. This is the die set that I used. This came out with this set, the Sparkling Season from Hunkydory. We have these available in the store, but if you wait until the class kits go up for these, I'm going to offer a special price on this die with the purchase of 1 or more of the class kits. Or you can go ahead and buy it now in the Hunkydory sale. Whatever you like. It's cool. Aren't these just the most amazing cards, though? Oh, I just love them. That's 2 of the sets there. We have 2 more to look at. All right, let's get on to the snowmen. Next. We have the snowman kit. The very first thing we're going to do is layer these up. But we got to make our choices first, don't we? This one I made 3 out of. So one of my layers is going to be my round one, my base sheet. One of them is going to be the most complete image I have off of my layering sheet. And one of them is going to be the cardstock. So these are going to be my 3. Back up just a little bit if you would. Otherwise I get covered up in the Debbie in the corner. There we go. There we go. Okay, as usual, when I'm doing this, I'm going to look for my most complete image that I have because I want that foiling to show. I'm going to go to my cardstock with the most complete image I have outside the one I'm using as the base layer. And then we have 3 really nice sized layers here. So everybody just kind of gets one of these bigger layers. I'll ask Bryce if he'll help layer again. We'll pick one and layer it up, and then maybe he'll do the other 2 for us. Okay, so we'll give that one there. And then I'm going to look for my next big pieces. One of the things I do like to do is that I kind of go back and forth. They go back and forth this way. So if this got the littler piece last time, it's going to get the bigger piece I have available now. And this is going to get an in-between size piece because that's what I have left now, but it's going to get the next biggest one. And then my next biggest piece is probably the snowman's head. So I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to start back from this side. And I think the sled is a good next choice. So let's put the sled. And I'm going to give the sled here. And then I'm going to give the sled here. Now I only have the rails left for the sled, so I'm going to give the packages there too, because that's going to make that one even. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to start distributing pieces of the other snowmen. So I'm going to give this lady snowman's head there. I'm going to give the little snowman head here.
Yours training, Mary R's willpower.
I'm going to give this little snowman here. I'm going to give the snowman face here. I'm going to give another piece of the snow. I already gave that. Well, I guess I gave both. Okay, I'm going to put that one in the middle. I'm going to put the little snowman over here. And then that is all of the pieces that I have on my sheet. I have this little bit of, it looks almost like mistletoe. I'm going to set this off to the side and I'm going to give it to whichever one looks like it needs more. So let's start with the base sheet. Let me look at our card samples. In fact, let me show you all our card samples as soon as I figure out what I did with them. I buried them under the dies that I showed you. And I'm going to have to cut the edge off of this piece of cardstock before I hand these to Bryce to layer because I'm going to need that. Or I could start on this one and then he could layer both of those. That's what we'll do. Anyway, here's the cards we're making. We have this one. We have this one. This is off the corner of our cardstock. And we have this one. And my honey designed these cards. Didn't he do a nice job? Bye, Thelma. So this is the one we're going to make first. So I'm going to give Bryce these pieces to layer up for me. Each you might want to lay out, just kind of sweep one set off on the table. This is little squares because it's what I have. I'll lay that over the top so maybe they won't move. Thank you. We'll layer this up. And these have quite a lot of pieces in these kits. Look at all those pieces. So we're going to put some foam squares on our snowmen first. I ended up with the wrong one here. Make the one that's a partial image first, if you would, please. The one that's not a complete circle. I meant to keep that one. I didn't. What are you looking for, hon? I don't think you do. Okay. I'm going to put... Mary R. says, Bryce, you did... Oh, Mary R. and Adeline both said you did a fabulous job designing your cards. I think so, too. He's really good at it. He just doesn't want to take the time anymore to do it. I don't know. I want you to do the incomplete circle first, the other one. That's it. No. No, listen to me. There's one that is not a complete circle. See it? The other one. Thank you. Okay. I'm back. We have to have this off-camera chat. What does an incomplete circle mean? I think I'm being perfectly clear. Sometimes not so much.
Circles, one just more incomplete than the other.
Right, because it doesn't go all the way around. In the final image, it doesn't go all the way around. But the final image. Thank you, Mary R., for reminding people to hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate it very much. Okay. We're going to peel off all these pesky little foam squares this time because that's all I have here. And it's what's in your kit, to tell you the truth. So be nice to the cameraman, Mary says. Okay, Mary, I'll be nice to him. After all, he is assembling my cards offline here. So I will have to be nice to him. I really do have to be grateful because the things I put this man through, you would not believe the projects I get him into. Like, let's clear 19 years of accumulation from our garage this week, shall we? Or, hey, honey, I ordered a dumpster. We're going to clean the garage. Yep. Yep. A man's got to love a woman to put up with that kind of stuff. He said, does that mean I get to put a car in? I laughed. No. I wouldn't count on getting a car in there. But I do think we'll get all the boxes off the floor. I think there's little chance of cars going in that garage. Okay. Oh, one more piece to go. I'll show you this one. This one just looks really nicely layered, guys. It didn't need all, a half inch of layering to look great. Look how great the dimension looks on this card. See that? It's got plenty of layers. You see closer and further away items. I think it's beautiful. Okay. While we wait for Bryce to get that one incomplete one done, let me get this 5x7. We'll cover it with some silver mirror board. And we can cut our, we need our blue. We need a piece of silver mirror. And we're going to go ahead, cover our card with the silver mirror board. Then we'll tie some bows also and get some, get our best glue ever drying. Thank you. I need to pop the bow on our teddy bear card here too. I'll do that as soon as I'm done here. As I still have it up there drying. But it looks good now. It's nice and clear. Okay. I don't have anything that's wrapping around my card base this time. All three of these bows are actually glue on. However, I may look at these and see if any of them would easily adapt to wrapping around, because then we don't have to wait on the best glue ever if they do. But if they don't, that's okay too. Just tearing my tape off. It may be my imagination, and it probably is, but I do believe that this last batch of craft style tape is stickier than we had the last time. I have to admit, Betty, if you layer up one with all of the layers, it really is impressive looking. It truly is. I don't think you have to have them all in order to have it be pretty. But when you want one that's just extra, extra special sometimes, yeah, it's not bad to layer them all up.
I layered the other one now.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to flip my card over, trim around that mirror board. So we have our mirror down. I'm going to layer that mirror board. Bryce has our topper done, and look, this looks great. See all the beautiful layering? It looks nice. We got lots of layers on there. It looks beautiful. So I'm going to, I know that my card is 5x7. I'm going to go ahead and cut my velvet. I'm going to make it, I want a little bit of extra border showing like Bryce has done here. I mean, I'm going to follow his designs. So I'm going to go to 4 5/8 by 6 5/8 for my velvet. Your velvet will be included in your kit. And that gives you, with that 5/8, you get that almost 1/4 inch border around. Good job, Roberta. You send cards so many places, friend. It's wonderful. You're inspirational, the number of cards that you send out to different organizations and different parties. Another of our friends, I know she'll watch this later, is Marilyn. Actually, it's pronounced Merlin. I just have a hard time doing it. Merlin. She is another one who gives so many cards to charity. Oh my gosh, so many. And she too is a real inspiration for the civic work she's doing with her cards. I know a lot of you are giving are see what I mean? This is just extra sticky this time. Trying to straighten it out a little bit. It almost wouldn't pull off. So the things we've said about this being, lightly repositionable, I think I have to say maybe not so much with this last batch in from Craft Style. See, I did that and I kind of stretched my paper a little bit and I didn't get that entirely straight. I'm not happy with myself over that, but I am going to trim this just a little to cheap because I didn't get it as straight as I wanted it. I'm not going to take it off because I'm just going to tear it up if I do that. So I'm just going to trim it down just a little to kind of de-emphasize how unstraight I have it. I don't hide anything from you guys. If I'm going to make a mistake, I'm going to make it right in front of you. There's no editing the videos and taking out the blunders here. You get what you get. But you can see how I recoup from them, so I guess that's okay. All right, in your kit you have this beautiful piece of silver double-sided satin. We're going to go ahead and tie a single. You will easily have enough ribbon here to tie a couple of singles out of this piece of ribbon because it's really a generous piece. I'm going to tie this. I think we're going to look at a 5 and see how that looks. Might be a little big. I'm going to, that might be a little bigger than I want. Let's do a 4. A 4 would be, a 5 would be a 2-inch ribbon, just if you're wondering. This would be like 1 3/4. Okay. Thank you, honey. Okay, I'm gonna get this really pretty little satin bow. Doesn't that look nice? Looks like my 2 sides are just a little off. If they are, you can, you kind of have to center where your knot falls in the middle, and sometimes it's a little off, so I can just pull one loop and make it slightly larger when necessary. The brace spread is tails down, so I'm bringing the tails down and clipping a whale tail. The tails down and clip a whale tail. That sandwich from breakfast is wearing off. I'm getting hungry. I'm thinking now about what we want for dinner. When we finish here, I'm going to be ready to order something or okay. All right. I'm going to bring this up. One of the nice things that happens here is see how the bow tail kind of dips down into that vacancy a little bit. It kind of diminishes that vacancy. And then I'm going to pop out off my element sheet. I forgot to get that earlier. I'm going to pop out this big greeting. And he used the season's greetings to the whole family on here. So we'll put it right there at the bottom. And this card will be finished. Really nice job designing this, Bryce. Very appealing. Nice use of your space. I love the way the ribbon kind of pulls the eye a little bit away from the fact that that's not a 100% complete image. It looks really nice. It just becomes part of the skyline, you know. Might not be a bad idea. I'm not sure. I think these are sticking fine, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to hit these foam dots with just a tiny speck of glue to help hold it into the velvet. We're not having any trouble with Bryce's falling off, so I don't know that we have to, but it wouldn't hurt. I have Happy Halloween stickers on order, Roberta, but I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get here. Okay. I'll go ahead and peel these foam squares. I do need to get some glue on that bow too, but it can set off to the side till we're ready for it too, just like the others did. Okay, get a little best glue ever on here. I always try to make sure I hit the knot good. Oops. Hit the knot with the best glue. I get questions about that sometimes too. I put a little bit on the tail, wherever the tail is going to be, and I put a little bit, just a dab, on the back of the bow loop too. Now, sometimes it depends on what kind of ribbon I've used, how much I carry on. This double-sided satin ribbon is really thick, so you can get away with a lot. Not that I'm putting a lot of glue on, that's not what I mean. It's just very forgiving is what I mean by a lot. I'm going to take this bow we finished earlier and pop that onto our teddy bear card. As now you can see it's entirely clear, right? There's no white at all left on there. And we're going to put that on at a slight angle, just for interest. I'm going to let the little tails pop up because it's cute. And there's our teddy finished from our first set. All right, let's do, this one is finished other than our glue drying on our best glue ever. However, Bryce did put little stickles on here. What he chose to do was to stickle just the snowflakes. See them? Kind of glimmering there. I might put a little bit extra because that's what I'm like. But in the interest of time, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to set this off to the side because I've had you here for a long time. I'm going to set that off to the side and we'll do the stickles later. I'll show you his inspiration cards once again as the finished design. And it's got some best glue ever on my card stuck, but I'm rubbing it off. Okay, now I want to look at these two and see who could benefit more from that. You know, I don't know that any one of the three is lacking in anything. I was just looking to see which one of these three I wanted to give this little piece of mistletoe we had left. There's nothing, none of them are lacking, but I'm going to put it on the one in the middle just because. Why not? Has to go somewhere. Yeah, our shows here hit you guys right at dinner time. We kind of our live streams hit here kind of between lunch and dinner. And we don't, we don't maintain a regular schedule around here. Sometimes we eat lunch, sometimes we eat breakfast, sometimes we just kind of do whatever, whatever seems to fit the schedule of the day. And okay, that one's done except for its best glue. Let's see what we want to work on next. It doesn't really matter which one we choose. I've got this one's coming off the cardstock, so let's do that one. This time, because I'm not wrapping around, I could, but I really kind of like the way he tipped his bow here, and then he tipped his greeting too. So I think we're going to make a glue-on bow on this one. So let's go ahead. Let's tie our ribbon and get that glue processing. So this is directional ribbon. This is the forest color of the woven iridescent ribbon. Lots of you guys have this ribbon in your personal collections. It's beautiful. When I bought this ribbon, I was able to get it at a really good price because she had it on clearance, and so I was able to offer you guys a really good price. I went back in a while back to see if there was, if there was any more of some of the colors that we've sold out of now. And we bought so much of it from her that she removed it from clearance and put it back to its regular price because it obviously was an in-demand ribbon. And I think probably some other retailers may have seen our videos and ordered it as well. So it became a very popular ribbon. And so if and when we ever restock our woven iridescent ribbons, based on what she still has available, I still don't think she's bringing more of it in, but when the time comes that we ever do restock them, they will be considerably more expensive than they have been for the ones that we got. We were really lucky to get this really excellent pricing on this very, very high quality ribbon. It's fun when I can find a deal and pass that deal on to you guys. I put the mistletoe on, let's see, I put it on the one that's on the cardstock. And it's down in the very front and to the side. It's right here at the bottom of the circle. Okay, so we've got our beautiful bow tied. I'm going to put a whale tail in it because he did in his. Except I was about to clip it wrong. When you do your whale tails, you hold it like a taco, folding it in the middle, and the two open ends are up. And then you clip upward at an angle towards the end of the ribbon. This is a directional ribbon. You don't see, at first glance, you don't see that because it's dark green on both sides, but one side is much shinier than the other side, and the shinier side goes out. That's really pretty. Now he pulled these a little bit more to the side, so let me pull mine out to the side. There we go. Let's put some, this is a more delicate ribbon. I have to be more careful about how much best glue I put on it because I certainly don't want it saturating through to the front. Best glue is a heavy glue, so it doesn't bleed through too badly, but it can bleed. So I have to be really gentle, really light-handed with how much I put on because I don't want to have my glue show through to the front. And you see how the stripes, the line of best glue is better than a glob. I kind of put a little glob, a little spot on the knot, but then what I put on the ribbon, I try to do in little lines. So we'll put that up and let that dry while we're working. And let's grab our, this one is not on mirror board. So I'm going to grab one of my cards. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to put my tape lines on there. And I'm going to cover my card. Got my tape all cattywampus there, but I'm not going to peel that tape off. What I'm going to do is I will I'll peel my tape off, and then I'll just go to this, and then I'll wrap that tape back up on itself. Doesn't hurt a thing to just put any extra adhesive right back up on the card. I'm not sure you can see that, but I just took the extra and just pushed it back up on itself. And that works great for dealing with that when you get it on there crooked. Hi, Glenn. Welcome. Nice to see you. Yeah, we have a bit of tragedy in the ranks today. It's just been a rough week for people.
Roberta's question about a topper deck.
What about a topper deck? Debbie, do you think they will come out with any new topper decks? I don't know. I haven't heard about them or seen them, but it wouldn't surprise me because they do a lot of new stuff around Christmas time. So I'm not sure, Roberta. I like the topper decks a lot. I'm with you on that one. I think the topper decks are an excellent value, and I like the size of the images that they use. And a little tiny, just itty bitty bit of white showing on that corner. I'm going to take off. And this is what it looks like when we get our card covered. Now, Bryce used his punch out sheet image, his greeting, and he used the one that says for somebody very special, and it's got the Snowman family there. And he kind of put it off at an angle here. Excuse me? Oh, you did, didn't you? Look at you. See this big white line? He didn't like that. He wanted to use the border piece over the top of that. So we'll take that off. I didn't even notice that, honey. Thank you for pointing it out. So I didn't notice it today. I noticed it earlier, but I missed it now. So we're going to take this beautiful border piece and put right over the top of that. Then that's going to look really polished. I like that a lot, honey. All right. A regular glue bottle is hid in all of this tape tear off I have on my table. I have so much of this here. Don't want to throw out my ribbon, which is right in the middle of it. Somewhere here I had a pen. I was using on my glue bottle. I guess I'll get another. Okay. Stop that. Okay. And I'm gonna stick my fingers in it, because that's always the next best thing to do. Okay. And there we go. That border's almost as long as our card, not quite, so we'll trim that off. Make sure my glue goes clear to the end. I think I need a little bit more glue under there. There we go. That looks beautiful. We'll put this tag here. You can go up on some foam squares if you want, or you can glue it down flat. Bryce glued it down flat, so that's what I'm going to do. We've got our green bow that is drying over there. I'll try and replicate its angle. And this bow that we tied, I'm not going to put it down, but it's going to end up going here at an angle just like our tag does. Let that go back to drying. We'll set this off to the side until our bow is done. And we are on to our last card. Put this back with my samples. We'll look at again. As with this one, I should have done that. All right, last one. How are we doing for time, huh?
4:07.
Well, we're not doing too bad, considering that we finished that other kit too. We're doing pretty good. Okay, it helped that you did the assembly for me. Okay, this time we are using a Mary backer on our cards. So get our piece of mirror board out. You know all those snowflakes I put on the sparkling season cards? Most of those snowflakes I cut out of my scraps and pieces of Rainbow Mary. So I didn't have to use any big pieces of cardstock. I just used my trim off pieces. So all these pieces we save, they're actually really useful. There we go. Get a couple rows of tape on here. And peel the tape off. Yeah, this tape is most decidedly more sticky than our last batch was. So don't let that catch you off guard. Interesting. They've both been good. I'm not complaining about that. It's just important to know that it's more sticky this time and not quite as repositionable as it was in the past. Okay. We'll get our card covered here and just whip around here and trim off any extra. Okay. A little smudge in my cards in my mirror board there, but I'm not at all worried about it because I'm going to cover that up anyway. Okay, now this one I think could be, if we wanted to, we could tie this around the corner and then we wouldn't have to wait on the best glue for this one. So I think we're going to do that. It will alter his design just this much, just a tiny bit. He's glaring at me over his almonds or whatever it is he's munching on over there. Good night, Annette. Okay, he tied a three, well, actually, I tied him for him, but he used a 3-loop bow. So we're going to do the 4-5-4 again. This is a little wider ribbon, so it's going to be very full as a bow. It's wider and it's that double-sided satin, so it's going to be thicker than some bows. It's not just you when you go to use the double-sided satin. It actually is thicker, and it is therefore just a little, you gotta kind of really pull on it to tighten it up. But it's beautiful too. And you don't have to keep track of the right sides, which is nice. Most of the ribbon we sell in the store is single-sided, but I got an opportunity to get some big rolls of this double-sided satin. I've been using that a lot in the class kits because we use so much that whatever I use, I have to have a lot of. But look how pretty that is. It just kind of naturally pleats where it goes. Isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous. We're going to want to get some tape on this right away so that satin can't slide loose on us. So I'm going to go ahead and put a tape line down. This is 5/8 inch ribbon, so I had to be able to use my regular Hunkydory tape to take care of this. I'm going to start on the ribbon itself, go up to the knot. I'm going to straighten this side of the ribbon out, hold it in place, bring my ribbon or my tape right on across the top of that bow and on down my ribbon. Then trim that off. And we have a very, very pretty satin bow ready to go on. We're going to trim this piece of cardstock. He's got fairly wide borders on here again, so we're going to put this to 4 5/8 by 6 5/8. And that will give us a nice border all the way around. Before we put this down, we're going to take our tape off the back, or paper part off the back of our ribbon. Start at the bow and it will usually tear easily there at the knot in the bow. And I want to place this about where he did, which is fairly low here. Wrap that on around. And then he placed his, I think I got that too low. I'm going to lift this a little bit while I can. If I can. That's maybe my, so that's why I shouldn't alter his design, because then it gives me a hard time. I'm going to move that ribbon a little bit, which I was successful in doing. I'm going to come up a little further with it because otherwise I was getting down too low against my squares that go around the... He grinned at me that I was having trouble because I changed his design even a little bit. He's enjoying that. Okay, there we go. So that's going to be fine now, I think. We'll see. Okay. Well, let's see how that's going to work with our squares now. We've got our snowman that goes here. Then we've got these little corners. Is it getting warm in here, or is it just me? Oh, he's comfortable. So it's probably getting warm in here. Oh, now Mary R's telling you to be nice. Har har. Turnabout's fair play, honey. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put some foam squares under my snowman family. Get a little drink of pop here. Okay. All right. Here we go. And a few little foam squares around our circle. Put one in the middle, hold up that center. We're going to go ahead and put this on, and this is going to go fairly close to the bottom. We're almost finished with our last card of the day. Then we'll look at 2 more sets of upcoming cards for classes. Put that on. Put a couple of foam squares on these little corners. And I'm going to bring those corners in fairly close, about 1/8 of an inch away, maybe, yeah, about 1/8, I'm going to say. Put my next one on. Okay, and I come in here, and I have just enough room to get that corner in there after I moved my bow. I have just enough. We should have pizza for dinner. Yeah, you go get some Pietros.
Is that what you're gonna do?
We can do it together. Be good. One more corner. And we're going to put it on our card base. Add our sentiment. Get in there. Okay. Pop this last corner in place. We have one greeting left to go. He's put this one at an angle, kind of mirroring the angle of his ribbon. So we'll put that there. He did glue this one down, so we'll glue it down. This one says, enjoy the Christmas magic. And we'll pop that at an angle similar to that of her ribbon. We're going to put this on here, allowing a little border. So we probably use some tape flags here. Let's get some tape on the back here. Now again, we didn't assemble this yet because we were wrapping our ribbon around our card. When you do that, you don't want your layer down yet, for obvious reasons. Get a little flag and pull out to the side. Get ourselves a little flag and pull it out to the side. Line up on our card. We should have about 1/4 inch borders for the width we cut this, maybe just a little less than 1/4 inch. The beauty of tape flags is it allows you to move things around to get things right where you want them. There we go. And voila. Oh, got a little foam scar piece hanging on my card I just saw. There we go. There's Bryce's design. It's on glue. I'm going to move that down just a little bit. There we go. That looks better. There it is. And it still needs some stickles. He stickled his snowflakes a little bit on the ground too, I see. Okay, so we'll put this one over here. Let's recap what we just did. We did a lot today because we also finished these. We finished our teddy bears from Thursday night where our computer snafu got in our way. Notice the stickles on the band and on the ball of the hat. It's really, really cute in person. So we finished these teddy bear cards up. We built these. Now mine are wet, so I'm showing you the inspiration cards, and yours will have a darker purple ribbon. But we built these. And we built Bryce's cards. And now I'm going to clear a little space. Note the precise way in which I do that. Just slide everything out of the way so we can get the last 2 sets of our cards that will be coming up 2 weeks and 3 weeks from now, because we'll do 1 set a night since they're making six cards a piece. Here's the polar bears from, can you back up just an inch? There you go. Perfect. Perfect. There we go. Here's the polar bears. Note that I cut the Let It Snow and the snowflake in this case out of my adorable scoreable. It shows how those dies cut. The pink is from the adorable scoreable pack. And I love the way it plays with the pink in the mountains. Isn't that fun? So there's our first one. Here's our second. This time I used my Rainbow Miri and the light pink background because the we have a light pink in the sunset. It really wants lots of sparkle on these snow scenes, so Stickles is highly recommended. Here's, I love the baby polar bear. Now, this is not in your kit, but I wanted to show you. Let me see if we can get a clear shot. Is it going to clear up there? There we go. There we go. See how I texturized that blue? Now, it will not be texturized in your kit, but you can see the impact of that dye that we were looking at the other day on regular adorable scoreable. What did I do with that? I showed it to you last time we met. I thought I set it out. I did. There's it here. You guys were asking about this dye. This, no, it's not an embossing folder. It's actually a die that cuts the slits into the cardstock. I wanted to show you what it looked like on regular cardstock, and it's a really neat effect. So your cardstock in your kit will not be texturized like that. You have to buy the die if you want that effect. But I did it so you could see what that looked like. Okay. This one. In each case, you can see my extra little snowflakes I've added here and there. On this one, you may have wondered where they were. They're here and here. This one's just a little one up in the sky. This one is an easel card. I've broken up my frame and backed it with adorable scoreable. Let's see those inserts. I didn't show you the inserts from these. I did it again, didn't I? Okay, we have one more. Once again, I texturized that background with that die. Yours will be regular, adorable, scoreable, but I did that so you could see what it looked like. It would still be pretty without it, but it's stunning with it. 6 cards from that set. Finally, we have the penguins. It says Happy Christmas to the whole family if you're trying to read it. Oh, almost dropped it. Yeah, it's hard to, once you've seen the March of the Penguins, it tends to stay with you. I like this effect with some of the smaller ones of making them look like they're hanging from the ribbon. The backgrounds in this set are just stunning. Just stunning. And see this kind of steely blue, isn't that pretty? You don't often see me back things with Adorable Scorable. I use a lot of mirror board, as you know, but this really played well with the Adorable Scorable. Of course, that will be included in your kits, the pieces you need. And final, last but not least, isn't that just the most fun set? Now you can see why I finished them in a day. I actually finished putting the snowflakes and the inserts in today, but I finished the cards themselves all in one day because they're just fabulous and fun to do and really, really beautiful. Wow! I'm ready to go order my pizza, guys. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom before I sign off and go get fed? Anybody? Oh, these are just great fun. They're so beautiful. They're so, so beautiful. And we'll do some class kits that will be one topper set per class kit. We'll do one kit per Thursday and Saturday. Oops, did that one upside down. Thursday and Saturday session because there's 6 cards per, we have to just keep it moving. Okie dokie. If there's no questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom, mash that like button if you haven't done it yet, guys. It makes me feel terrific and appreciated, and it helps make sure that YouTube recommends our videos to new people. And I'm going to say good night, Gracie. Thank you guys for joining us, everybody. Appreciate you. Stay safe out there, guys. Bye-bye.